Yo, what is going on, guys? Cryptic TMG back with a brand new video. Today we're going to be taking on the Monza daily race on LMU. You guys already know it's Carnage. It's an absolute war zone and it's not Call of Duty. We decided we were going to take the Corvette and try and break up the Aston Martin domination and see if we could get the Corvette to the podium. So let's get stuck into the video. Now, if we was going to get that Corvette on the podium, we had to qualify well in what was essentially a very stacked lobby. Even guys like Dowking was back, and I'm telling you, he was quick. Did we manage to have a good quali or not?
No.
So we were starting dead last. So this is going to have to be some type of special drive because we struggled in quali big time. But we get a launch, and I was just going to sit back and see what happens. You know what it's like at Monza. Turn 1 is always crazy. So I decided, you know what? I'm not going to get involved. I'm going to mind my own business. And you know what? I think it was the right decision, mate. Because as we headed into turn 1, absolute carnage, rear wings flying absolutely everywhere. Yo, I just hit the brakes. I was like, I don't need to gain a position right now. I'm sure there's going to be plenty of cars that are cooked. So I tried to work my way through. And we only gained a couple of positions, but there were cars all over the road. And I thought personally, this is a good chance to squeeze through. But for whatever reason, this guy is trying to defend, trying to squeeze me. He's got no rear wing. He's already had crazy damage. And yeah. What's the point? At the time, I was absolutely raging. Couldn't believe it. Lost a ton of DR, and our attempt at getting the podium has ended in the gravel traps on lap 1. I refuse to go out like that, man. I didn't make this livery for no reason, bro. So we're going again. This time, hopefully, we can have a much better race. This time, we were starting from 12th. Hopefully, I can get a good launch as we back it up just behind the guy in the Lexus. This was going to be interesting. Another stacked field. And believe me, guys, like these races were actually insane. We managed to get a decent start. Our reactions are pretty on point, to be honest. But of course, the Corvette is not the greatest in a straight line, but we are in the slipstream with the guy in front. Could we find any positions off at the start? It was going to be tough. Again, you know, being in the mid pack, mainly you want to get out of the first corner unscathed with no damage. And we actually managed to get through turn 1 with no damage at Monza, which in itself is an achievement. And we also gained a couple of positions because I'm sure there was 1 or 2 cars off at the side of the road. So we're up into 9th position. This was going to be tough. Remember, guys, I'm trying to get to the podium. So we're going to have to overtake a lot of people. And to be honest, we were not the quickest for sure. Can't lie, every time I get to the second chicane, I'm just in my mirrors, just waiting for the binnage, waiting for the bin juice, but it never happened. So for whatever reason, people today were deciding to be clean in this race. I can already tell you, I did a few races and I pretty much got killed in every single one. But for some reason, it was nice and clean at the start of this race for me, and I was happy with it. Just trying to focus on getting a run. And you can see there's actually a decent mix of cars here. BMW, Lexus, Corvette, McLaren. So it was looking pretty good, man. Someone up in front was holding everybody up. I was just trying to pick my moments. The guy in the Corvette in front of me brakes early to let guys through. And to be honest, I can understand why. As the BMW goes off, almost kills us on the rejoin, but we managed to survive. The Corvette through Ascari is very sketchy. If you get the braking wrong, man, the back end literally just swaps around on you. It's like instant binnage. So I can understand why he was a little bit tentative into that corner, but we've managed to survive it. And we're now up into P8, so 5 positions to go. Could we get to the podium? It was going to be a real tough fight. And I'm telling you, the 3 cars in front, I believe they were all Astons. They were already flying. So very hard. But I'm trying to get a run, trying to get in the slipstream. But of course, we just don't have the best speed. I was surprised this guy went to the outside line and sort of gave us the inside because he's kind of trapped behind the Corvette in front. That allows me to send a dive bomb up the inside. We keep it pretty tight on the curb. But as you can see, I just cut the corner, so I had to be strategic and give him back the place while still being able to get a run round the Curva Grande. Now, do we have the pace in the straight line? It looks as if we were okay on acceleration. I can definitely tell you that the Lexus, the Aston Martin in particular, was so fast down the straight. Very hard to get a move done on any of those cars, but we are up into 7th position. We've got another guy in the Corvette in front. He was pretty fast as well, so hey, listen, you know, the Corvettes look like they're doing decent things right now. We're trying to push and trying to get ourselves more towards the front of the grid, and at the end of the day, listen, the Corvette's not the best, but if you can manage to do something decent, put in a couple of good laps, I feel like you're doing a good job. But it was going to be very hard to keep the Lexus behind. You can see he's got the run on us going into Ascari. Would he try and throw a dive bomb? I go a little bit defensive. He ends up backing out, which was good for me. Trying to get a run through this part of the track, which I think it, particularly for me, is where I struggled a little bit. But we managed to get a good run, and we're trying to push on. The guy in front in the Corvette is kind of getting away from us, and we need his slipstream, because as you can see in the mirror, we're getting absolutely hunted every time we hit the straight. And I'm a little bit wide, back end steps out. You see we just managed to catch it, and that is the jeopardy of when you drive the Corvette. It can be sketchy sometimes, and I almost died there, but luckily we managed to survive. Now we need to push on. Can we catch back up to the guy in front? We need that slipstream, otherwise we're going to be in danger from the cars behind. Now onto lap 5, and we were still in 8th position. Not much action had passed, and as you can see, some of the guys ahead just really started pulling away, so it wasn't looking too good for our podium chances. But we were on a half decent lap, and we managed to close in on the Lexus in front. Also, the Lexus behind was sort of coming with us as well, only 8 tenths behind, and after that was quite a big gap. So this was our fight. We needed to start making moves, but again, guys, I was literally just struggling on the straights. I just had no straight line speed. You could see all the gravel being kicked up in front. Somebody else is off, wheels missing, rear of the car missing, and people are all over the place. I think that was Carl in the wall. So you can see we're up to 7th position. I believe there's even more damaged cars up in front. So maybe we've got a good chance as the Lexus goes a little bit wide. Could we get a run on him? No, he was back on the throttle. And again, you can see there is an Aston going into the pit lane, so we're going to gain another position up into 6th place, and we're not really having to make moves, but it just seems like the Monza Carnage is working in our favor, and we just need to try and keep it as clean as possible. And you can see it's absolutely going off in the chat. I wish this game had voice chat. I'm telling you, the amount of clips you'd be able to get from this game having voice chat would be absolutely insane, because there was so much beef in the chat. It was very hard to concentrate, man. I found myself trying to read instead of driving, and it actually amazes me how some people can type and drive at the same time, being in a full-blown argument while taking apexes and hitting braking markers. It's crazy. It's definitely crazy. I think it's the younger generation. That's just me. But anyway, back to the race, up into 6th place, and through the Lesmos, the car felt pretty good, apart from when I was really close up behind the Lexus, and I'll just get pure understeer. And that was the only thing, you know, you kind of have to focus on where the car is strong, which is the middle sector for me in this car. But again, if you get it wrong, you just lose so much time, and it's very hard to get past on the straights because it just doesn't have the grunt. Particularly, I feel like in the Corvette, it plateaus in 6th gear, so that was a bit of a struggle as the two in front go side by side through Ascari, and that definitely helped put us on the back, and we're going to try and carry the speed through. Even the Lexus behind is only half a second behind now. I'm trying to get the run on the Corvette in front. I'm going to use his slipstream to see if I can get round the outside of the Lexus. But again, knowing how the Corvette behaves, sending in a late braking maneuver, trying to hold on to the back end, probably not the best idea. So I'm going to try and get the slipstream down into turn 1 and see if I can maybe get an overtake done. But he was in the slipstream of the Corvette in front of him, and the Lexus behind us wasn't even that far behind either. So this is going to start getting interesting, guys. I need these positions. I want that podium, especially I need the DR back. So I decided to go to the outside line. The Lexus actually brakes pretty early. Let's see if I can hold on to it round the outside. Then we've got the inside line. I tried to give him space on the exit. He just dips a wheel in the gravel, and we are up into 5th position. Now we're only 2 positions away from where we really want to be, and that is on the podium. We're trying to sip that champagne, lads. We're trying to see what that champagne tastes like. But for whatever reason, after we made the overtake, we just seemed to just drop off the pace, and we were back under pressure, even though we were all over the Lexus before. Now we were the ones that were trying to hold into the position. Still in 5th place, and you can see it's still going off in the chat, but I go deep into the braking zone. The guy behind also goes deep into the braking zone, and then there's a Lexus behind him. So we are literally holding on for dear life. As you can see, we're doing pretty well in terms of our rank in the lobby, because we were only ranked 12th, and that's because of the previous bad races where it kind of cooked our DR. So we're in 5th position. We'll definitely get a good ton of points, but the podium was looking like a big long shot at this point in time, and whether I could even stay in the top 5 was an even bigger question, because we are under pressure, complete and utter pressure. And I'm telling you, for whatever reason, the handling just seemed to just go away from me, and now he's just quicker than me in every single corner. And I knew on the straights even, I was definitely going to be under intense pressure. And you can see the back end stepped out in Lesmo too, and he actually hits the back of us, and I think it gave him a little bit of front aero damage, but you can see him all over us, and I thought he was going to go towards the inside, so I was actually going to give him a little bit of room, but he ended up jinking back to the right hand side at the same time that I did, so it kind of looked like I was sort of weaving, but I generally wasn't. I was literally going to give him the inside, but he jinked back towards the right hand side. But you can see we are so slow at the minute. Now we've got rear damage, and just look at the way we are just getting attacked into every single corner. It is insane. In my head I was thinking, man, why did I take this Corvette? Why did I take the Corvette? I know it doesn't have the pace, but I ain't gonna lie, I just wanted to show off the livery, guys. I wanted to show off the chrome. I was trying to show off, but it's not working out. But at least for the guy in front, he was flying, he had pace, 50.6 in the last lap, and yeah, we were on the struggle bus right now. As the Lexus tries to take the outside line, I brake pretty deep into turn 1, and to be honest, it was pretty nice on the brakes, man, and it does rotate nicely in slow corners, but you know, trying to get away was just, it felt impossible. And the battling we were doing just helped the guy in front of me just completely and utterly just pull away. So it was getting tense, man. Luckily for me, it was only these 2 Lexuses behind us, but it's like, as soon as I got a bit of rear damage, it was like I had no straight line speed whatsoever. We're just getting attacked absolutely everywhere. All we could really do is kind of just back them up and hope that they fight, so we can get a little bit of space and see if I could, you know, try and pull away. But for whatever reason, the car just felt like it fell off a cliff, and I just did not have the pace. But let's see what we could do for the rest of the race. Only a couple laps to go, plus the lap that we're on, and things up in front were just about to get even more spicy. Because as I was coming up to Ascari, this happened to the McLaren that was in front of us. I believe it was in 2nd position. Absolute bin juice at Ascari, and somehow he manages to carry on. No rear wing, rear suspension damage, and you can see us in the background with the 2 Lexuses hunting us down, and this is another chance to gain another position. Just look at the damage on that McLaren. How is he even driving it? I have no idea. So this was potentially another position. You could see the McLaren struggling in the last corner, back end all over the place. I'm sure he must have had some rear suspension damage as well. But for whatever reason, he doesn't pit. He's still trying to hold onto the position. This O'Grady guy is insane. And I'm not sure how he still had rear downforce. Maybe it was the rear beam supports of the wings still being attached to his car. Maybe that gave him a little bit more rear downforce, but I've never seen anything like it. He was still able to hit apexes. Absolutely insane. This race was just chaos. But it was crazy because he still had a little bit of pace. It wasn't like straightforward. I thought for sure around the Curva Grande he's going to be off, but look at his car absolutely fishtailing around the Curva Grande, and still I'm not even catching him on the straight, which is crazy to me. I genuinely don't know how he was doing it. Bumping over curbs, still managing to hold on to the rear end. Just insane scenes. But I thought, listen, I have to get the position because you know, I need these DR points. I can't lie. He's still holding on to it. I send it down the inside of Lesmo's. I'm trying to get away from him because at any moment that car could be absolutely backwards, and I was not trying to be the guy in the way when the rear end goes. So lap 10, one more lap to go after this. The Lexuses are being held up by the McLaren, and he's somehow still got enough straight line speed to hold them off. I go into Ascari, all of a sudden I see the McLaren flying behind me, and I'm thinking, yo, what has just gone on? Did he miss his braking zone? But then he just appears right in front of me. I go off trying to avoid him, and then I get an illegal pass, so I have to let him back through. But also the Lexus completely closes up, so we're completely blocking the road at this point. So I'm thinking, yo, I don't know what this guy's gonna do. Send it back down the inside. This time there's a few more cars with me. Now Lobmeyer and the Aston Martin, he's now caught up. So I've got 3 cars behind me, all of which are definitely quicker than me down the straight. We're heading on to the last lap. Bro, it was getting so intense. The podium fight was a distant memory. Now we're trying to secure this 4th place. Look at me getting absolutely swamped. Everybody's trying to send it. But as I said before, pretty good at braking late in the Corvette, and it's got very good slow speed acceleration. And I'm not sure why O'Grady just absolutely just sends it through the first chicane. I don't know what was happening with his brakes or whether he was just choosing to do that. I'd seen a few races with him previously where he was just sending it through the chicanes and cutting the track and just seemingly not getting a penalty. So I don't know what was going on in his mind, but whatever happened behind us, it's helped us actually escape. And I tell you the truth, if it wasn't for the slow speed rotation in the Corvette, a lot of these times we would have been cooked, because we were not getting great runs out of the corner. We were braking a little bit deep through some of the corners as well, but a lot of slow speed rotation definitely helped, you know, escape some of those situations. And lads, listen, my head was gone in this race, absolutely gone. You know, so much was happening. It was just like, I didn't even realize that we're actually having a pretty decent race, because we started like 12th, we're now 4th. We're gonna beat a ton of people that were ranked higher than us in this lobby as well. And you know, it's gonna be pretty good for the DR, I can't lie. But we didn't get the podium, we missed out on the podium. But I'll take solace in the fact that there's another Corvette that's about to get a podium. So I'll take it, I'll take it. You know, I feel like it was a podium for both of us, because it was a struggle, right? But we come home in 4th place, and it was just a crazy race. And can you expect anything else at Monza? Trust me, lads, it's always crazy. But yeah, we managed to come home in 4th position, and lads, man, I was sweating after this one. My heart was beating all sorts. But listen, we did pretty well. If you do like the video, remember guys, leave a like, definitely subscribe. Cryptic TNG, I'm out. Peace.